What is going on, guys? Welcome back to week 5 of Premier League predictions. We had a week off and now we're back. Eric, are you ready for this week 5?
Yeah, we had a good week of international games, but I'm ready to get back to the Prem.
I didn't watch any of the international games.
All right.
All right, well, in week 4 we were 17 and 12, and after week 4, going into week 4 we were 17 and 12. After week 4 we went 6 and 4. We both tied in the picks, and we are now sitting at 23 and 16. So I don't know, that's a little shaky. Not too bad though. We're still above 500. But we're still tied. Nobody's taken the lead outright yet, so we're both still in this thing. Let's get right into this. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
We got Wolves versus Liverpool.
Okay. Yeah. So last week, or I guess 2 weeks ago, Liverpool took a 3-0 win over Aston Villa. It was well played. I like what I saw from them. Wolves, on the other hand, took a 2-3 loss to Crystal Palace. It's kind of rough for them. They did put up a good showing. It was a nice game to watch. Both teams played very well. But in the end, Palace won. I think this week is going to be pretty straightforward. I think that Liverpool is just going to outclass Wolves. I think that if the Wolves play a solid defense, they might be able to keep the score low. But honestly, I'm not looking much from them in this game. I think if Liverpool keeps playing at the high caliber that they were before the break, they should be just fine. They still have a lot of crucial players in there, healthy and playing well. I don't see Liverpool losing this.
Van Dijk back from the red card?
I believe so, yeah.
All right. Yeah, Liverpool's going to win this one. Wolves stand no chance. It's going to be a 3-0 Liverpool win. That's what I got. All right. You got Liverpool?
Yep.
All right. Moving on, we got Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace.
All right. So, like I said earlier, both of these teams, Aston Villa lost 3-0 to Liverpool 2 weeks ago. It's a rough loss from them, but Liverpool is playing really strong right now. It's nothing to be ashamed of. On the flip side of that, Crystal Palace took the 3-2 win over Wolves. That was a well-played game. They took the win in the end, and that's all that really matters from them. They did play good offense. They need to hold themselves a little stronger in the back, but other than that, I think Crystal Palace can be a fine team. I think this week I'm going to take Aston Villa because I'm going to keep riding the train that I've had this whole season. I think it could be an interesting game to watch, though, and anything could really happen. But for my own personal choice, I'm going to take Villa.
Yeah, I'm also going to take Villa. Crystal Palace has shown some life, though. They've shown more than what we've given them credit for at some points of this season, so we got to give them a little credit there. But Aston Villa, I think, is going to be a little too much for them. Moving on, we got Fulham versus Luton. I saw a little video of the Luton fans. Them Luton fans are crazy. They funny.
Yeah. Yeah, so Fulham last game took a 5-1 loss to the City. Not that surprising. They kind of let the score get away from them. City just kept running over them. But they did put up a goal, which is good for them. Not many teams have done it this season. I think that if you're going to play City, putting points on the board is nice. On the flip side of that, Luton lost to West Ham 2-1, so they've put points on the board now. Yeah. But West Ham took the win, and, we saw signs of life from Luton, and I liked what I saw. I think that Luton can come into this game and play well. I'm just not entirely sure if they're going to outplay Fulham this week. I think that Fulham, if they can get back to where they were before the City game, playing good ball, having a solid defense, and, getting the passing game back, I think that they'll take the win. So I'm going to take Fulham this week.
Yeah, I agree with you there. As much as I want to go with Luton so bad and get the underdogs their first win, I think I'm going to wait for that a little. Hopefully it comes at some point, but I think I'm just going to have to stick with Fulham for now as well. Moving on, we got Man United versus Brighton. Do you remember if Brighton won last week or not?
So Brighton won 3-1 over Newcastle.
Oh, that's right. So Brighton's been on this up and down train of thinking like they're a good team, and then not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's a little confusing there.
Yeah, I like what you said about them being on a bit of a roller coaster. I think that the season's been overall well for them. Beating Newcastle a couple weeks ago was good. That's a nice win. 3-1. It's not, it's not just screeching by. It's, winning with some space. They are going to play United, who had that really hectic game against Arsenal last week,
That was
which was
crazy.
it was a crazy game, and it was one to watch.
I
And
wish I
honestly,
watched.
so do I. It was a game to watch. Seeing it, it's tough to believe some of the stuff. The competitiveness between the two teams is really alive, and I liked what I saw. It was a great game. But in this week, between Brighton being that up and down team and United, having that close game against Arsenal, but also United being that kind of up and down team as well, it's going to be tough. I think I'm going to take a draw.
Oh my gosh. I was going to say the same exact thing.
Well,
we just make
great minds think alike.
We just make all the same picks there, and nobody's going to win. So we're just going to tie. Yeah, I don't know.
I picked first. If you want to change your pick, you're more than welcome to, but
Man
I picked first.
Man United should really win this game if they are the Man United we all know. But yeah, just due to the craziness is why I think a draw is very likely. Well, a draw's never very likely, but I'm going to just go a draw.
Well, United are also short one of their forwards with some current allegations that are happening.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to speak too much into that until more is discussed. But United are down in their attack a little bit, so we'll see what happens.
Yep. Next up, we got Tottenham Spurs versus Sheffield United. Tottenham not looking like they're slowing down at all.
Nope. With the 5-2 win over Burnley last week, they look like they're back in shape. Unfortunately, they did give 2 goals up to Burnley, who are bringing in the rear of the table, but are still here to play. It's interesting to see what they're doing, but yeah, for Tottenham to come in and score 5 goals, nothing surprising really. I think that they just came in and performed how everybody expects them to. On the flip side of that, Sheffield took a 2-2 draw with Everton, which is kind of an underperformance from Sheffield. I think that they probably could have taken the win in that game. It was close. It was a couple of crucial plays that came in and decided that game was going to be a draw. But honestly, I'm with you in saying that Tottenham have just been unstoppable. Kind of. They play well. They can be beat. They have been beaten. But if they keep their momentum rolling, they will probably win this game.
Who beat them this year? They got 1 loss, right?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll put it in an editing.
I can't remember, but yeah, I got Tottenham as well. I don't see them slowing down here. Moving on, we got West Ham United versus Man City, and as well as West Ham has been playing, I mean, they've kind of been on a roller coaster too, thinking, oh, they're up there and then they're down, but I don't know. I think the powerhouse of Man City is just going to be too much for them as well. I don't see Man City slowing down at all.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a fair statement. With City's 5-1 win over Fulham and West Ham's 2-1 win over Luton, it's looking like it's going to be a City runaway. But honestly, I really like the West Ham squad. I made a lot of misjudgments at the beginning of the season, and quite frankly, I'm really glad that I did, because I like seeing what West Ham is playing right now and them performing well. I think that West Ham is going to put up a great performance against City. I don't think that they're going to get blown out like Fulham did. I think that they're going to put up a little bit of a tighter game. I think that this can go either way. I think that it's going to come down to some crucial plays. I just think that City's going to have more crucial plays made that are going to be finished.
Yeah, for West Ham here, I'd really like to see a one or two goal difference in the score. For that, I think it's a win no matter what for them, just to show that, hey, we can sort of play with these guys. So
yeah, I think if West Ham can keep it to within 1 or 2, and especially if West Ham can put a goal on the board, that'll be really saying something, because City is a powerhouse. There's no denying it. Mm-hmm. But even powerhouses have their off days and their weaknesses. And if West Ham can fully exploit it, and if City has a bad day, if West Ham wants to take a win, great, let them.
Yep.
But I think I'm gonna overall from a statistic standpoint, I'm gonna take City. But I think West Ham is just as likely as anybody else to take advantage of a mistake made by City.
Yep. I agree. Moving on, we got Newcastle versus Brentford.
Yep. So Brentford took a 2-2 draw with Bournemouth last week. It was once again another close game. Went down, just like we always say, it came down to who put the ball in the back of the net, and it ended up being a draw. It was a close game. It was a tight game. It was definitely interesting from both sides. I think that with it ending in a draw for both, kind of being an evenly matched game, it was good to see from both of the squads. On the flip side of that, West Ham taking a 3-1 loss to Brighton, not what you want to see if you're West Ham. They had potential to just skyrocket through the season, and taking that loss to Brighton is not great from them. I think that Brentford needs to pick up their game a little bit, hold the back line a little stronger, but keep doing what they're doing in the midfield and the front. They keep playing their game and they should be fine. Newcastle needs to get their act together and come back from that loss. I think that if Newcastle can bring it back, it should be their game, but I don't know if they're going to bring it back all the way, so I'm going to take a draw.
Well, there we go. We have our first difference right there. I think Newcastle will bring it back and we'll get the win.
Yeah.
You're wrong, Eric.
I may be. I don't care.
All right, moving on. We got Bournemouth versus Chelsea.
Yep. So Bournemouth, like we just said, took the 2-2 draw with Brentford, so I'm not going to speak a whole lot on that because we just went over it. On the flip side of that, Chelsea lost to Nottingham 1-0. Wasn't expecting that. After the praise that we had gave them from week 3 with Chelsea playing a nice game and with Raheem coming out and doing, wonderfully, it was really disappointing to see Chelsea just kind of fall back into their old ways and, to just not play with the intensity and strength that I think that they really can and should be. And the fact that they took a 1-0 loss to Nottingham, a game that they probably should have won, I'm not excited to see really what Chelsea's doing. Chelsea's in the same situation that Newcastle's in. They need to really bring it back, get a win under their belt, and recover from week 4. Because honestly, if you keep this downhill slope rolling, it's just going to be a long season. But honestly, I think Chelsea can bring it back. I'm hoping to see them, play better, resemble more of what we saw in week 3, and take the win over Bournemouth.
Sheesh. I got a Chelsea win also. I think they're going to reel it back in.
Yep.
All right, moving on. We got Everton versus Arsenal. I think this is pretty obvious. Arsenal coming off a great win. Everton not playing so well. I think this is an easy Arsenal win.
Well, Everton haven't had a great season, but they had a good week 4. Putting up a 2-2 draw with Sheffield isn't exactly the end result that you want to see, but out of everything that could happen, they showed signs of life. They went, they played, they put goals up. They, need to tighten up their defense a little bit and, stop some of those chances. But honestly, you saw signs of life, which for Everton is what you need right now. You needed to see something to keep hope alive. Unfortunately, they are going against Arsenal, who had that close game against United. But, Arsenal are a really good squad. I don't think that they're going to get too hung up over that close game against United. They took the win. It doesn't really matter. They're walking away now. I think that Everton, who have shown signs of life, will come in and play. I don't think that they're going to be able to play to the standard that they need to win this game. I think that they have the chance to try and keep it close and try and, keep momentum rolling. It probably won't be, a great wave of wins and momentum and, X, Y, Z, but it'll keep them going and it'll keep them rolling into the next few weeks. So I'm going to take Arsenal, but I think Everton has a chance to keep their momentum rolling.
You didn't want to pick Everton?
No, not in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. Finally, we got Nottingham Forest versus Burnley.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So with Nottingham beating Chelsea last week, like we had said earlier, it's really interesting to see what they're gonna, do here. They beat a club that they probably shouldn't have beaten. I mean, if Chelsea had played the way we thought they were, they should have won. So Nottingham coming in playing well, cleaning up on a slightly broken down Chelsea squad. I'm 100% okay to see Nottingham come back and do it again and beat a Burnley squad that hasn't really performed this year. On the flip side of that, you have Burnley who scored 2 goals against Spurs. Yes, they did get stomped 5-2, but putting 2 goals up against a strong Tottenham squad is impressive in general, and especially with Burnley bringing up the end of the table, having a lot to prove and having something to say about being in the Prem again. I think it'll be an interesting match to watch. I think that both teams really have to play here to kind of show where they're at right now. But if I had to choose between the two, I think I like Nottingham's odds better. I think I'm going to take Nottingham for the win.
I got Nottingham for the win.
All right.
Yeah, I think Nottingham coming off a Chelsea win just is kind of big. They beat Chelsea, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's just going to be a big boost for them. I think they're going to beat old Burnley.
Yep.
All right. Well, that wraps up our picks. Hopefully it's another great week of Premier League action. So we'll see how it goes. And hopefully our picks are somewhat right. Make sure you guys do please comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share it with your whole family, your friends, everything. And then let us know what you think about our picks or what picks you may have down below in the comments. And that's it for this week, guys. We'll see you next week. See ya.
See ya.